Okay, I'm going to teach you this game called Knock the Block using the fundamental motor skill of kick. So for this game, to start off, depending on where you have available to play, if you have a basketball court, you're going to place some blocks around. Now you could use little markers of where this is supposed to be. In my hall, there's no lines, so I just tape X's on the ground and the students can put the blocks on there before I start. But if you've got markings on the basketball court. Now, I only have 10 blocks at my school, but if you want to add in more students, you could add in one here to make it 11, one here to make it 12, and one here to make it 13, and that could include some more people. But for my school, I just make it this because I don't have enough blocks. Now, to start this game, I usually get the students to sit in the centre circle or another spot that you might preference, and I pick one student that's maybe waiting nicely, and then I get them to pick another student of the opposite gender. So I'll give them the block, they'll walk and choose a spot. The best spots are on the side, the hardest spots are in the middle. So they pick a spot, say they pick over here, and then they'll pick another student after that, and then they might go to this spot, and then another student, another student, another student, until we fill up all the spots here. Okay? After that's done and you've run out of blocks, you might have some leftover students. So I usually get them to line up in another spot. It depends on your setup. I have a little spot past here where my hall extends out, and I get them to line up there. And you could have some numbered cones or just an area or a line for them to use, and I get them to line up in an order there. You can get students to choose until you get to the last person, or you can do it, or you can just get them to line up. It doesn't really matter. Then I usually give out 3 soft balls to start. Okay, so you can use a dodgeball or you can use another ball. It depends what space you have to use, and I like using softballs because there are some lights and some other things that can get damaged if I use other balls. So I start with 3 and tell them if you can play sensibly, I'll add in more, or if not enough people are going out, I'll add in more, etc. So before they play, you might explain the rules. So in this, it's kind of like soccer. You can't use your hands. Some exceptions would be if the ball was stuck under a chair, or it depends what's in your gym, or under a little bench or whatever else you got in there, they can grab it and put it out. You can't kick or touch anyone else's block, and if you do, they're out and the other person can put that block up. If your block falls over, you are out, and then the next person that's lined up, wherever you've got your line, would take that spot. So say this block gets knocked over, the first person that's lining up goes over and they can pick it up. This person that was out goes to the back of the line and they can wait their turn for the next time. So it's kind of an ongoing game. It doesn't really stop. This person that puts the block back up, I like to give them like 5 or 10 second head start where they can't be knocked down. And then I might say something like, your block is live. And that would mean that they can be out now. So you can't, once you say that, then you go, well, you knocked over your block, that's it. And I find that clear communication works pretty well. You can't kick the ball like straight up in the air. I have white fixtures and it's just annoying, and it encourages people to just boot it and possibly kids get hit in the head. So if they do that, I call them out. If it's maybe close, you can give them a warning, but it might be depending on the student or the class that you have. Another rule my students asked me to add in was, if you headshot another student, you're out. So if you just try to boot the cover off the ball and hit someone in the head, okay, they're just out straight away and the next person can take their spot. Also, if you knock over your own block, so you might be standing close to it and accidentally knock it off, but if you do, you're out. And then the other rule I have is you're not out, say, this line here, and they interfere with someone else's block being knocked off. You're not out, and you can put it back up and keep going. Some other variations I've had to this game as well that you could add in if you want to, okay, are that you could add and take away balls. So if they're being really silly, you could take away a ball and make it less. If they're doing a great job or not many people are going out, you can add more in. You can use different types of balls. So you could use smaller ones, bigger ones. Probably keep them soft is the best mode for this game, with multiple balls going everywhere for injury, and if you're indoors, can damage things. Also, I've done like creating teams where students wear certain colours and you have a time limit, and at the end of that time limit you might have an iPad, or if you're in a gym, and you can show the time on a TV. And then at the end, the team with the most amount of people in would be the winners. Maybe if there's a tie, you could do a little battle at the end, or just call it a draw. So that's another version. And you could do this like in houses. And I've created like house competitions of this before. And you can make it go towards house points or the house cup. And it could be like a lunchtime activity that you seen your kids could run at your school as well. And I always try to ask the students. So ask students. This way they can own the rules a bit. And, you know, once they come up with the rules, they tend to argue with you a little bit less. I'll leave a link to the rules as well. I hope you enjoy Knock the Block. And that's a pretty good game to include for inside, especially if you're doing soccer, because it incorporates soccer skills as well.